Hey everybody, it's Matt with TheLowCashHomestead. Today, we're going to be doing some hydroseeding. And I got this little home hydroseeding kit here. I found this at a big box store. It wasn't that expensive. So even if it doesn't really work very well, then I've got a water bottle, sprayer water bottle. It comes with a little bag of seed inside, which has tall fescue, perennial ryegrass, creeping red fescue, and Kentucky bluegrass. So this is shamrock Kentucky bluegrass. We also have a bag of Vigoro. This is fast grass mix. This is annual grasses. These are several blends. This is several blends of annual ryegrass. We'll get into why I want the annual ryegrass shortly. But so we're going to get into this little thing now. According to this, you just drop this whole little fertilizer packet right here down into the jug, and then you add the bag of seeds. So we'll do that and then I'll show it to you. Okay, so down in there is the little packet. That's the little packet. You're just supposed to drop the whole little packet in there, and then you put the seed in there, and then you're going to screw the top on. It's got several settings: off, water, light seed off, and then heavy seed. And that noise you hear in the background is I am right outside the kids' playroom here. So then I'm going to screw the top on this, if I can do this one hand, and connect it to the hose. And then once I do that, I'll come back and talk to you some more. Real quick, I want to talk to you about some of the hose I'm using. This is that stretchy hose. I forget what it's called, but it's normally like 15 bucks. Wally World was clearancing out a bunch of them, and I grabbed two, and then I went back the next day to get some more because they had a massive shelf of them, and they were all gone. So far, I really like this hose, and I'm thinking that these would be good for inside the greenhouse for spray wand applications because they shrink back once the water goes out of them. And then when you turn the water on, they swell up. So how long they last, I don't know. I've only had these couple about a week, but we're going to find out. Because we're going to use them. I've been using them for the sprinkler system where we planted the new grass and everything like that. I'll show you more about that here in a minute. All right, let's talk a little bit about why we need to do this at all. I had a new septic system put in. You see this like real high density seed right here? My son wanted to help. He's 5 years old. He wanted to help. And so I had the tractor and a broadcast spreader. And what I ended up doing was giving him a little Scott's push spreader, a drop spreader. And it was older, but in the process of helping, he had a little temper tantrum and just dumped the seeder over. So I just took my feet and kicked the seed around. There's some poo because I have dogs. And my children, I even have a pooper scooper, but my children never pooper scoop the poop from their dog. Anyway, so I ended up just taking my foot and kicking the grass around. But let's talk about why we need to do this. In the first place, we got our new septic put in. That is it over there. They seeded pretty heavily right there. Now, by law, the septic contractor had to seed and straw. And they did, and they seeded in K31, which is that clumping kind of fescue. And in the meantime, the whole time that they were doing this project, what I was doing was each week and periodically I was buying little bags of grass, you know, from my earnings at markets and things like that, and I would just go buy a little bit here and a little bit there, and I ended up with a lot of grass. And then a friend of mine gave me a 50-pound bag of Pennington K31. They're not a sponsor. I'm not endorsing them or anything like that. This is where the drip lines are. We've got the most grass growth there. That area was not really messed with too much. And then we have all this area here. So all total, there's about 150 pounds of grass seed out on this right now. The 50 pounds the contractor put out, and that has grown in various places. And then there's several 7 and 10 pound bags of commercial fescue mixes that I've put out. And then I just put out another 50 pounds of K31 that my buddy gave me. And then I put out another 3 pounds of commercial fescue mixes, which is deep-rooted fescues, because that's what we need here for erosion control. Now, I'm going to spray with this little home hydroseeder. We're going to test that and see how it works. And we're also going to spray some ryegrass on here. And the reason I want that ryegrass is I need erosion control. We're on a hill, and when it rains, man, it flushes my seed out. So I get a really thick grass down at the bottom and really thin grass down here at the top. So I'm going to try and spray this ryegrass on to give it something to hold the dirt and slow that water down. And you can see some of the seed is green, some of it is blue. A lot of it is coated. This is not a food source, so I'm not worrying too much if it's OMRI compliant coating or whatever. So I'm not really worrying about that, because this is not a food source. This is just my lawn. And there's a fireworks tube from the 4th of July, which apparently got plowed under and then resurfaced. And what we did too to prep this is my buddy lent me his dethatcher, and I went through and I scratched it all up. And then I broadcast the seed, and then I broadcast fertilizer, and then I broadcast more seed, and I'm using a 25-25-4 to get this grass going. And then the next day I came out and I hand threw seed all over this area, because this is the main area here where we really got to get some grass growing for erosion controls. All right, so I'm going to get this little hydro mouse thing. It's connected to the hose. We're going to turn the water on and see what kind of a job it does. This is Matt with The Low Cash Homestead. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Flexi hose. I got water running through it. It's not like a 5/8 hose, but I think they're going to come in handy. They've been coming handy for me putting sprinklers out. Those little, hammer type sprinklers. They've come in handy for that. And I'm thinking that once the high tunnel is done and we expand the automatic watering system, then we'll probably use these for like spray wand applications. I think they'll work great for that. All right, let's go check this out. This doesn't have a trigger. You control it with the knob, so we're going to just put it on water so I can get an idea of how the thing works. Well, that's a pretty wide spray pattern. Got some air in there. Get that blasted out. I'll also give a chance for that mixing chamber down here to kind of get filled up. Okay, so I don't think this is going to be much of a big deal. And I'll let that chamber get filled up. And then I'm going to start spraying the seed in that main area up there, and also down this pathway here, where you can see it's already started to erode in a good couple rains we've had. We got some gullies already starting to form, so we got to get grass growing here. And even if it's ryegrass, just to keep the erosion control, just to avoid erosion, while we let all these like high quality fescues come through. Not necessarily K31, but some of these other fescues, these deep rooted fescues that I put in. And then on the advice of, because I've had soil and water come out here, and on the advice of soil and water, they said with the certain fescues here to let them grow to like 6 or 7 inches, maybe 8, before you cut them, because they're going to grow equally down as they grow up. And so I tried to get those fescues, the turf grass and turf style fescues. So this thing seems to be okay. And I don't think the mixerator jug's filling up quite yet, but I'm going to just kind of hydrate everything, and then I'm going to spray down the fertilized, the mixture inside, which is the fertilizer and the grass seed. So I'll come back to you in a minute. All right, now I shut this off for just a second because it did start to spray out green, and I'll show you that in a second, which is basically what it's supposed to do. If you've ever had, this is like the 3rd time that we've had to have this yard done, and that's, I can tell you a little bit about the story now because the case is more or less closed. There was a case where, I'm going to get into all the specifics of why, but government contractors came out and dug my yard up. Then they effed it up, and they broke my septic by sticking a track hoe through it. And Then they tried to hide it by hydroseeding and seeding over it, and it just turned out to be a big mess. So this is the third time that we've had to seed all of this, because they have to keep digging it up because government contractors keep screwing it up. Now, the last contractor that they sent did a pretty good job at repairing everything. And in fact, we got a whole new septic system out of it, because they keep breaking stuff and, you know, destroying my property. So anyway, okay, let's talk about the hydroseeder. I'm going to turn this thing on, and you'll see that the fluid that comes out is green. There it is, and that's normal. I've had hydroseeding done before, and the green fluid is the seed along with the fertilizer packet and everything. Now, they say that this will get lighter as you go on. I have it on light seeding right now because it's my first time using this. I don't really know what it's going to do or how it's going to do. But I'm getting kind of the feel of it. I did put a metric S-ton of fertilizer out here. I think like 40 pounds so far, just in like half of the area I showed you. Maybe I went a little bit crazy with it, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and switch it to heavy. Seed. There we go. And I'm going to hose down this whole area here. I'll catch up with you later. Alright, so we use this little Hydro Mouse bottle I picked up at a big box store. It was like 20 bucks. First impressions, it's basically a proportioner. Like Miracle Grow has a garden feeder proportioner. Vigoro has one. Schultz has one. Except this one sprays the seed out as well. So as I was refilling it with some annual ryegrass, just to kind of get some growth. While we wait for all these varieties, and there's like 7 varieties of fescue that I put in here based on the different seed mixes that I bought. While we wait for those fescues to come up. So, first impressions, it does the job. Well, so far it seems that way. It can be difficult to tell if you're still dispersing seed. It's got this little window in it that allows you to see if the water is still turning seed in there. Now with the fertilizer in there, that's a little bit difficult. It also gives you, how much seed to put in it based on how much area you want to seed. So that's convenient. One thing I did notice is I had it on heavy seeding setting right there. Heavy seed. And if you're not sure if seed's coming out of it, stick your hand in front of it. Just kind of, I don't know if I can do it, but let's see. Just kind of like stick your hand in front of it, and if you see seeds on your hands, then it's still spraying. And then you can just, shake your hand off or whatever. That's basically what I did. So I put out about another, I think it was 3 or 4 pounds. Let's see. And yes, I have some lawn maintenance to do. I did cut that area and detached it and swept it. This was 3 pounds. This fast grass mix, like I said, this is annual ryegrass, Italian ryegrass, perennial ryegrass, another brand of Italian ryegrass, and that's it. So it's ryegrass. Ryegrass comes up quick, but most ryegrass, well, not most, but a lot of ryegrass is annual. So it's just kind of there to allow your fescues to grow. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to connect the hammer sprinklers. I got to get some dense shade grass for this part that they tore up here. Just hammer sprinklers. I'm going to hook the hammer sprinklers back up. I'm going to let them run for as long as it takes me to fold this next dryer full of clothes. If you haven't seen the videos on the washer and dryer, check them out. They're called Badass Washing Machine. Yeah, babe. Yes, you can have milk. Hey, you guys all need to go in because you didn't do your chores yesterday, so you're grounded. No outside time. Don't do your chores, you don't get outside time. Anyway, so we're going to hook these back up. I'm going to run them for as long as it takes to do a load of laundry. And what I mean by that is to fold what's in the dryer. And then when I start the, before I start the washing machine, I'll turn this water off. Plus it's getting really hot. It's supposed to be like 96 degrees today or something like that. This is Matt with the Low Cash Homestead. That's one of the projects we're doing today. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Okay, so we got the hammer sprinklers hooked back up. And now I gotta go fold some clothes. And as soon as I'm done folding those clothes, I'll turn them off and we'll run the washing machine again. And again, if you haven't seen that video and my review of that product, check out the video, Badass Washing Machine. I'll leave a note to it, or a card to it, right about here. Thank you very much. Have a good day.